Hello and welcome to the Healing Tree Hub. Today's talk is going to be on empaths or clairsentients, I like to call them. This is a really important podcast. I find that pretty much 95% of my clientele and students that do come and see me are known to be now seen as empaths. So I wanted to have a really good chat because there's a really good chance if you're drawn to this particular podcast and you've been listening to me for a while, there's a really good that you, my friend, are an empath. And an empath is an incredible ability. It is something that is supernatural, I guess you could say, in a form. It's a clairsentience, we call it. Just like clairvoyance is the vision, the clairsentience is the feeling. So I want to talk about this because once you are aware that you are actually an empath, and once you are aware that this is an ability rather than a curse, you will be able to manipulate this for your own highest good and for everyone around you's highest good. And isn't that amazing? So we can turn something that we would think is a deficiency or some sort of curse, some may have even called it, but you can see it as something different, something as a new ability that you can tap into, and you can help a lot of people with this tool. In fact, a lot of people in my industry, clairvoyants and psychics and mediums and therapists and holistic counselors and healers, all of them seem to be empaths, and it makes them really good at their job. But the reason why they became so good at their job is because they learned how to manage this. It no longer took over their world and took over their life. They were able to hone into the ability when they needed it the most to help people to really sense where people are at and really provide a bridge to be able to assist them with whatever their need was in that moment. That is an incredible ability for humanity. So I'm here to, number one, let you know that there are many things that you can do as an empath, and what an empath actually is, and how we help people being empaths, because it's something that won't change. We will always be empaths. However, there will be things that we can do to make sure that we can survive being an empath, but not just survive, thrive being an empath, actually find our space and find what we're really good at and how we can help people. So what is an empath? Let's get into this. So an empath is somebody that feels other people's emotions. That is the first sign that you are an empath. Now, it doesn't always stop at emotions. There are some empaths that are so sensitive that they can actually feel others' pain or physical attributes. So I'll be talking and giving some examples on this as we go through. But basically, the most common empath signs are that you know how someone's feeling even if they're not telling you how they're feeling. So you can really detect the congruence between someone smiling and looking very happy, but you can feel the sadness in them, or you could feel the anxiety, or you could feel the anger. Now, here's the problem. Most of you that are empaths out there pretty much have most likely been living your entire life thinking that you're going mad sometimes, because just a trip to the supermarket you may find completely overwhelming because you're picking up on every single person in that center or that area that you're in's emotions and feelings and energy. And that can be really overwhelming. So how do we get to this point? How do we become these empaths that are sort of tapping into everybody's emotions and sometimes everybody's sensations? A theory and a hypothesis, again, that's all this is. It's just, let's try this on and see if this fits for you. A theory that I have is that empaths grow up as children in an unpredictable setting. So there might be a mum or a dad or maybe even a sibling that is really unpredictable. Most of the time, I feel like these empaths have had to walk on eggshells around this particular person, or just have absolutely no idea what to expect in that person's presence. So, for example, if it was dad, And dad was cool and cruisy and fine, but every now and then you would catch him and he would just go off his rocker, or he would be really furious or angry. Or maybe it's mum, and one minute mum's funny and laughing and joking, and then the next minute she's deeply depressed and sensitive and finding it really hard to take a joke. And you just don't know what mum or dad is going to be like when you see them or are in their presence. And you're really starting to get that sense as a child that it's really not safe. You've really got to tap in and check out where these people are at. So if you walk into the room, you're not sure where dad's at, is he in a good mood or is he going to be violent, you're going to take a step back. You're going to really observe. You're going to feel into dad's energy. And what actually happens as an empath is you become so good at this. You become so efficient in tapping into people's energy to make sure that you are safe, to make sure that you get your needs met. And this sounds great, doesn't it? So all of a sudden you become this little, dial where you're able to sense anyone around you's energy. So you walk in, and if you can imagine it like cords, there's a cord connecting you to dad, and you're just, okay, dad's not in a bad mood, he's in a good mood, so I can say this and do this, and that'll be fine. Or, oh, mum's in a sensitive mood right now, she's really struggling, so I'm going to have to make sure that I am this to balance her out. And what ends up happening is we tend to become people pleasers, or these relationship builders, or the peacemakers, because we find ourselves trying to act as a balance or to provide what's missing or what is needed in that scenario in the relationships we're in. And we get really good at this, but it becomes so overpowering because every single relationship, every single person you meet, we're talking even the cashier at the register, the teachers, the students, the workmates, the family, the dog, the cat, you name it. We're tapping in, if you imagine cords tapping in from your heart space, tapping into these people and constantly trying to calibrate ourselves to make sure that everyone is happy. And what happens is that we have this attention to others. Our focus is always on others. Always. That's what an empath is. Their attention and focus is always on others' needs. So we will drive ourselves batty to make sure everyone around us is comfortable and happy, and we don't mess up or we don't hurt anyone's feelings, because God forbid we feel that we have hurt their feelings, because that's a whole nother level. So we find ourselves being peacemakers, we find ourselves being people pleasers, and I've got another podcast on that really taps into this. And it can be absolutely exhausting. So if any of this is resonating and you're feeling like, yeah, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm experiencing on a daily basis, I dare say that you have gone on into life and felt like you are going mad, like you are feeling so many different emotions and you don't know where they come from. And the reason for that is because you could just walk down the street and a homeless man's energy may be tapped into, and all of a sudden the next day you are still feeling this deep sense of worthlessness or pity or sadness, and you don't know where it's from, and the whole time you've been carrying other people's energy, just a stranger on the street. So really important, once we're aware that this is happening, we find that it no longer takes any power away from us anymore, and we're able to rebuild our own energy. And there's a lot of tricks and tips I want to provide you today with to help you to bring back your power around this. I hope that the noise outside, I've got a whole bunch of trucks outside of my studio right now. They just made their way here as I started recording, and now I'm way too into it to stop. So I really apologize if there are sounds in the background of this. I'm hoping my system will block it out, but we're just going to have to roll with this. If that is the case, I apologize. Okay, so here's the thing. So now you're an adult and you are finding that you are very good at tapping into other people's emotions and energy. And you're a very good bullshit detector, by the way, as well, because you can really sense if someone is not telling the truth, because you can actually feel it in them. But what do you do with this now? If you're picking up even the homeless man that you walk past, or the people in the shopping center, or every single person at the petrol station's energy, what are you supposed to do with that? Simply as simple as starting to protect yourself with energetic boundaries. Now, I'm going to refer everybody after this to one of my meditations that is free on YouTube. If you found this podcast on YouTube, just have a little look in the same library and you're going to see it here. And I'll also pop the link underneath so that you have access to this. This meditation is actually not a meditation. It's actually a lesson in a meditative state that you receive. With my guided journey meditations, I program you to basically go into an alpha state of mind. And in this alpha state of mind, your brain is able to receive information at a deep subconscious level where you're able to make some big significant changes within your own programming, I guess you could say it. So anything that you do, any kind of learning or exploring or healing that you do in an alpha state can be really powerful. So that's why I do this teaching and this boundaries explanation in the guided journey meditation. It will really stick. It will be there on a subconscious level. So I'm going to really highly recommend that the part 2 of this podcast is going to be sitting down for 30 minutes and doing this guided journey boundaries meditation. Now, basically, we all understand by now, if you've been listening to me for a while, you understand as an energy healer, I am really big on working with energy, with any kind of mindset work. Now, this is absolutely no different. If you can understand that as an empath, we're working in an energy field. So we all have a 9-foot bubble of energy around us. That might be easier to imagine. It actually does look like that when I'm looking at the aura. And every single person's bumping around with their 9-foot beach balls around them. Now, that's why it's so bloody uncomfortable to have someone standing right next to you in a line, or someone's really close, way too close to you when they're talking. You just feel like you need to step back. That's because they're in your energetic auric space. So here's the thing. There's a couple of things we can do. We can, number one, understand. The first thing to do is acknowledge that you are now understanding that you're an empath, and that many of the emotions and experiences, up to 90%, maybe even more, is not yours. You're literally picking up everyone's energy, your children's, your mother's. You're even picking up energy from the news channel that you're watching. So just be really careful about what you're watching, what you're listening to is a really big one as well. And also what kind of friends you have around you. Are they toxic? Are they always speaking in a negative way? Are they constantly living in a misery state? Because this will absolutely impact you. And do you have some narcissists around you? And I don't say that easy, the word narcissist. I believe it gets thrown around way too much as an insult for many people. I think everyone has the ability to be have narcissistic tendencies at times, but narcissists are actually quite rare. But the interesting thing about narcissists, in my theory, once again, just the theory, try it on, I believe that narcissists are really attracted to empaths, because we spoke about before how the attention is always on others. When you're an empath, your focus is always on others and you're left last. Empaths don't really look after themselves very well usually, as a rule of thumb. But narcissists are the exact opposite of the spectrum. So they may have had a very similar childhood, for example. You might even have a brother or sister that's a narcissist if you're an empath. That sometimes can occur. So basically what a narcissist does is, as a child, they've detected that one or more parent or sibling is unpredictable, and it's really hurt them and it's really made them feel unsafe. But instead of using the technique that you put into place, where you had focus on others at all times, you're now, as a narcissist, going to disconnect any emotional reaction, feeling, or attachment to anyone around you, because that hurts. That feels uncomfortable. And to get their needs met, they focus only on self. So where an empath focuses all attention on others, the narcissist disconnects from others and focuses all attention on self. And they will also try to find people that will help them in that process, where they're able to get other people to focus their attention on them. So you can see how this can happen, and you can see how a lot of empaths end up marrying narcissists, because narcissist gets their needs met really well with an empath who has all focus on them. So just just really interesting, something that I've really seen in my work. So it's just a hypothesis. It's just a theory I'd like you to try on and see if that works for you in your day-to-day life and what's happening in your world, or who your ex-husband is, or have a little look. See what those relationships are around you. So what we're going to do about this. So we already spoke about the energetic auric field. So in this meditation that we spoke about, we're going to actually put basically a boundary of light, of energy around that 9-foot ball. And then we're going to go and try it on in this meditation. So basically you'll have 3 different people sitting down on tables and chairs in this meditation. And one will be a really sad experience where the people are crying and sad, and you can really just hold space for them and not lose your energy. And this is something else that I really want to talk to you about in regards to being an empath. It's one thing having a boundary around your auric field, like basically an energetic, imaginary. I'm using the word imaginary because that's how we promote this. It is real though. Know that even though you're imagining it, it is real. So this beautiful golden light around this auric field, this beach ball around you, it's real. All you have to do is imagine, just like you did as a child. Imagine it's around you and bam, it's there. But you're going to find that there'll be separation once you've got that boundary in place. So you will have your energy and you'll be really aware that your energy is your energy. And then when you've got this boundary around, you'll to be able to detect that other people's energy is not yours. So when you do approach this table of people that are crying and sad, you're able to hold space, but not lose energy or absorb their energy, which is a really important point. So we hear people say all the time, hold space. I'm going to hold space for her. I held space. What that means is actually hold your energy with this boundary while still actively listening, empathizing, and having compassion. But you don't have to experience that inside you. You can just be there on a neutral space, providing compassion without feeling it or comparing it to it. So this is really important, and it will make you a better listener. It'll make you a better friend. It'll make you a better everything when you're able to control your energy not being leached or drained or affected. You will be able to really be there, really listen, really experience from a separate bubble of energy, I guess you could say. The problem is when we're interacting as empaths with people, if you can imagine that your bubble of energy we've discussed, like this 9-foot bubble of energy, is energy that has vibration. So I've spoken about this many times in my podcast, but I feel like it's really important to bring it up again on this one. All energy has vibration to it. And there is no scale, but for the sake of explaining this today, I'm going to explain it from 0 to 10. So let's just say a level 1 vibration is really dense and flat, like a wavy line if you were going to write it on a board or something. And thoughts really do affect the vibration inside our energy field. So thoughts like hatred, anger, resentment, fear, guilt, all of those really dense emotions, they sit heavy in your body. You can actually feel them in the body as blocks. Now, these energies are, let's just say, a level 1, 2, 3, okay, really low. And due to the law of attraction, which we've learned about with The Secret, the law of attraction is just stating that anything we send out into the universe as a signal is only matched by the same vibration, by the same frequency, by the same vibration. So let's put this into practice. Let's just say I'm in a really upset mood. I'm feeling really sad and angry and resentful. I'm on a level 2 and my vibration, my thoughts are sending that emotion into my system. So it's actually the emotion that emits a signal into this quantum field. And don't worry if you lose me on this one, because it's a really hard subject to grasp. We're talking quantum physics at this stage. But if you can understand that your thoughts are important because they turn into emotions, and those emotions are a charged energy. So it's energy in motion. So as that energy sends out a signal, just like Wi-Fi, basically, that's why it's a frequency, it's sending out a signal into this quantum field, it can only be matched by the same vibration. So this is what it looks like. You wake up, you're having a really bad morning already. You feel like crap. You got a headache. You go to make a coffee. There's no milk. You feel like wearing a certain top. You left it in the dryer. It's still sopping wet. Damn it. Now you're running late. The kids are going nuts. You jump in the car. There's no petrol. Now you're stuck in traffic and everyone's beeping you. By the time you get to work, everyone's lost it. You get it. We've had those days. That's a really low frequency. Just like thinking of a radio station, it's a really low frequency. All you're going to get is more of that vibration. It's a law of attraction. Now, why am I explaining this to you? Why is this so important? I'm getting to it, I promise. Hang in with me. So with a high vibration, it's exact opposite of the spectrum. So thoughts like love, compassion, joy, excitement, all of those great things, they are really high vibrations, almost like a tight zigzag, if you can imagine. Now, this particular vibration sends out, basically reacts in an emotion. So those emotions send out that signal of happiness and joy and excitement and all the good stuff. And you can only get more of that in that frequency. It's just like if you were on pop songs on a radio station, you're only going to get pop songs. You're not going to get sad song, country and western. So it's the same sort of theory. And I just love this because it's incredibly powerful. It can change everything in your world. Once you get this concept, it changes everything because you realize that your frequency is the most important thing. You must keep your vibration high. And when I say this, I'm not talking about thinking positive. Notice I haven't even mentioned thinking positive. Thinking positive is obviously the ultimate goal, of course, that's what we want, but it has to be authentic because remember how I said your thoughts turn into emotions and the emotions are the things that send the signal out. So you can think all the nice positive thoughts you want, but if you're not feeling them, if they're not true to you, if you're not actually authentic with that, it will not send out the signal. It needs to be the actual emotions that send out the signal. So that's why I'm not huge on a very sad and depressed person working with affirmation cards because it's not authentic. It's actually just going to piss them off a little bit more, to be honest. But what I am really big on is making sure that you authentically are either appreciating, loving, getting excited about things in your life that are real. So sometimes if your day is that bad, just taking a moment to stop and feel that nice warm coffee in your hand and just send so much appreciation for that beautiful coffee in your hand. It's small. It's really small, but it makes a big dent when we have appreciation, joy, love, compassion, excitement, forgiveness. Those vibrations are so strong. They are so powerful and they can change the frequency that you're on. So it has to be your main priority. It is not selfish, empaths out there listening. It is not selfish to prioritize your vibration. In fact, the next section of what I'm about to say, just before you run off because, no, I can't look after myself and do self-care. I'm not listening to her anymore. Stay with me. Stay with me. When you make your vibration the most important thing in your life, everybody wins around you. Everybody benefits. And here's how it works. So remember that 9-foot ball of energy you are and that auric field around you? If that's a high vibration, so let's say a level 8 or a 9 or a 10, and you're walking around, it's addictive. It is absolutely addictive. And here's why. Let's just say you walk into a room, everyone's on a 5, you're on a 9, you're feeling freaking amazing, and they are feeling meh. And then they see your energy and they feel your energy. Now they'll have two choices. They will either have to rise with you or they'll have to leave your presence. Because of the law of attraction, it's a little bit uncomfortable if you're too far away from each other in vibration. And that's why when one person starts laughing and giggling, you will notice that most of the people around them will start laughing and giggling. It's just a little bit of a social experiment. Give it a go next time you're in a lift. But you'll find that it's an addictive energy. Everybody wants to rise with you. Now, here's when it doesn't work in your favor. And this is super, super important. Let's just say you are having a good day. You're on a 7. You're feeling quite joyful and happy and you're enjoying your day. And then you come across Bob, and Bob is at a 2. He is in the trenches. He's feeling absolutely miserable. He is just almost at the end of his rope. And of course, as an empath, you want to support him and hold space for him. But before, if you didn't know about these little boundaries or understand how energy work, what was happening was you were coming up to Bob and you might have been on a 7 and he might have been on a 2, and this would have been unbelievably uncomfortable to be able to be around each other in such different frequencies. It would have been really annoying for Bob for you to be that high. We all know that when someone's way too high and it's like irritating you. That's the experience that it is. And for you, you just saw Bob as probably a drainer, or you were really worried about him or concerned. So here's the thing. Usually if you're unaware, the highest vibration will drop. Okay, they'll drop because that's the one that they're in control of much easier. So you'll drop to Bob's level to maybe a 3 and he'll be at a 2. But it doesn't just stop there. While Bob's telling you his sad story and giving you all this energy that you're experiencing and feeling, there's an energy exchange. So if you could see it, you can see that the person with the higher vibration is pouring their pure high vibrational energy into the person that is very low and feeling very depressed and sad. And they're getting filled up with this higher vibration. And it doesn't stop there either. Because energy can't be deleted, it must be transferred or transformed. You're receiving Bob's very low and dense vibration in replacement. So now, not only have you given Bob your high vibrational energy and dropped to meet his experience, you're now taking on his energy for your own auric field energy. So now Bob walks away at about a 3 or 4, feeling pretty great because he's received some of your high vibrational energy. He's also got a whole lot of energy off his chest. And you're walking away feeling horrendous. You feel like you got a headache. You feel crap. You're miserable. You don't know what happened to you. Now, honestly, guys, how often is this happening? It's unnecessary. At no point should you ever need to take anyone else's energy. And I'm speaking out there to all the healers as well. At no point do we ever need to take on other people's low vibrations. It's not necessary. Where there are so many different clearing techniques we can use if that accidentally does happen. Many of my students learn a technique where we send the energy to the center of the earth and it gets transformed and comes back to us. But if you're not a healer and you're not interested in learning about Reiki level 1 or whatnot, that is fine. All you need to do is basically ask yourself one little question. Let's just say, Bob, if your experience with Bob has been really draining and you feel like you've just been drained, literally, I want you to ask yourself, who does this belong to? Who does this emotion, this feeling, this sensation, who does it belong to? And in that moment, something will pop up in your mind and you'll know exactly who it belongs to. Now you have a choice now. You can send it back to them. I prefer to send it to the center of the earth. Okay, because I know that Earth, and I speak about this a lot, Earth is the most incredible transformer, transmuter, alchemizer. It's incredible. It alchemizes this energy and transfers it into high vibrational energy. And that's what I teach. That's one of my biggest things that I teach in my practice, because it doesn't hurt Earth. It transforms within the Earth. It's incredible. So asking that question is so powerful, but I'm not just going to stop there with some tips. Also, there are some energy medicine techniques you can do before you go and meet Bob, before you even have that interaction with Bob. There is a central meridian that runs all the way up from your crutch to the bottom of your lip. Now, this central meridian is really important because it allows our energy to be leached or spilled over and leaked out. So there's a little technique where you can place your hands just underneath your crutch, and you can just literally hovering about 2 centimeters, and you can pretend that you're zipping up this central meridian. Just that electromagnetic energy in your hand actually has this ability to pull the meridian up and lock it in place. So I even do this little lock. Once I get to the bottom lip, I lock it like a key and I throw away the key and I'm nice and secure. And there's another beautiful technique. If you're a client of mine, you know I would have made you do this a million times. But you stick your finger in your belly button You stick one hand on the other hand on the third eye, push in, pull up, and take a deep breath. And this sort of locks in that energy. So just to reiterate, these little techniques that I want you to start bringing in, and just try them out for a week. Give them a try for a week. And if it doesn't work, fair enough. But try it on. I've never had anyone that it doesn't work for, by the way. Bit cocky of me, I know, but so far so good. So message me if it doesn't work, because I'll be shocked. So first thing, before you leave that house, if you know you're an empath, you know that you are struggling, the first thing I want you to do is imagine that 9-foot bubble of energy around your body. And I want you to put a beautiful, bright, white, protective, safe light around you. Okay? The second thing you're going to do is you're going to stick your finger on your belly button, stick your finger on your third eye, push in, pull up, take a deep breath. Very good. You might want to do that 3 times. Just go with your own intuition. And the third one you're going to do is pretend you're zipping up from your crutch all the way up to the bottom lip, lock it and throw away the key. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Then you're going to go out and you're going to start interacting, understanding that you're now separate. You've got this bubble of energy that is separate, and really feel it, experiment it, go to the shopping center and just tap in and see, okay, so this is my energy. Oh, and that's her energy. Oh, this is my energy and that's that kid's energy. Okay, I feel the difference. This isn't mine. And when you do slip, which you will slip 100%, I want you to stop right there, feel the feelings, and ask, who does this belong to? And wait for something to pop up in your mind. And just in that moment, when you figure out who it belongs to, take a deep breath in and release the energy into the earth. And I even love to say, I call back all my high vibrational energy in that moment. So, for those of you that would like more information on this, I would be happy to write a little summary of what we just spoke about and these tips and tricks so that you've got them and you can copy and paste them and put it on your phone. But go give it a try, guys. Go have a little play. See if these techniques are going to work for you. And I cannot stress it enough. Please, after this, jump on and find on the Wallen Healing Tree or Healing Tree meditations on YouTube. I'm going to put the link below as well, and do the boundaries meditation. It's really important. It will really lock all of this in for you on a subconscious level. So I hope that this session has really helped the empaths out there take back their power and realize that even though this has been really difficult for you throughout these years, not knowing that all these emotions and experiences weren't just yours, you're picking up on everyone's around you. And you're making everyone else's vibration more important than yours. I'm hoping that this is going to really propel you into a sense of urgency to understand that your vibration is very important. And if you really want to help everyone around you, if you really want to make that difference, then start with yourself. And the best way to raise your vibration is self-love in any aspect, self-appreciation, self-kindness, all of those things, self-forgiveness, all of those things. If you can forgive yourself for any mistakes that you've made, if you can love yourself just the way you are, if you can give yourself some treats like a nice bubble bath or a healthy, beautiful meal or a day of exercise or fresh air or doing something that is your highest passion. In fact, following your highest passion whenever possible will always raise your vibration. Pumping on that music and really getting out any stress and tension, shaking it out literally, and just listening to high vibrational music. I can't stress how important these little things are. We hear, oh, it's important to look after yourself, yada, yada, yada. But when you realize what it's actually doing from a vibrational point of view, it's setting you on a frequency where you live a different reality. You live a different experience, and your whole perception of the world will change. I'm really hoping that this has a big impact, this little podcast. I'm trying to squeeze it in a small amount of time, but this is the essence of what I teach. This is what I'm so bloody passionate about. You don't ever have to let yourself be last. That benefits no one, because if you're at a level 2 and you're walking into your family home, guess what happens to all the people that are in a higher vibration than you? They get dragged down because of the uncomfortable position that you've put them in, just like Bob did in our situation. Okay, and they get drained by you. So remember that the next time you let yourself be the last person to receive anything that you need, the next time that you put yourself down, the next time you don't forgive yourself, remember what you're doing to everyone around you. And I don't say this to make you feel guilty or bad, but I'm trying so hard to promote people to love themselves, to put themselves on a pedestal as well, because you are worthy. And the reason why I know that for every single person that's listening is because you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be trying to better yourself. You wouldn't be trying to make something of your life and not just dealing with the status quo. You exist right now because you are worthy. Anyone that is incarnated on earth at this time is worthy. But you are a very special type of human because you take the time to listen to podcasts like this. You're taking the time to learn more and evolve. That's a very small percentage of the world that actually does this kind of work. So I just wanted to credit you and acknowledge you for taking the time to listen to me today. And I hope that even just one little tip makes a difference. But if you take anything from this podcast today, it's you are so worthy and you are so loved. So please start doing that for yourself. Start loving yourself. Okay. I'm going to go. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to share another podcast with you again. See you later. Have a great week.